Okay, this is it. New camera angle. Yeah, I changed the camera angle. Sorry about it. I'm just trying new things, you know? I'm young. It's the season of experimentation. We've just got one production breakdown left, and that's what we're doing today. We're gonna talk about Over the Mountain. Sweet escape. This is the final song on the album, Living the Pipe Dream. It's the only song without drums, and God, it's one of my favorites. This was a tough one to do. It's like a sacred song for me. I wrote it way back, just a couple years ago, I guess, and had to do it justice. If you ask me, it turned out pretty dang bomb. Let's get into it. If you've never experienced a production breakdown, let me tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna go through all the tracks, basically just one by one. It's all loosely sectioned off here. So I'm gonna go into the vocals first real quick, because I just like to do this in descending order. So let's just dig in to Over the Mountain. Somewhere over the mountain. So I recorded all of this here, you know, at home. Vocals are pretty standard for me. I do all my vocals pretty much the same way. It's roughly a process that looks like this, you know. These are the things that I do. Getting into this is its own conversation, it's its own video. So I think I might do that separately. But the gist of it is, I go with a pretty clean tone. I like my vocals to be super present, even in this song. Originally, the way I wanted to do this song was just like a single room mic. Just like a very organic, like put a microphone in a room and then I play the song through on guitar. And then that's it. You know, no edits. Like super raw. I thought that would be cool, but I didn't feel like it would fit with the rest of the album. It would be such a weird, starkly different tone, which is kind of cool in its own way. But just like to finish the album that way, it just felt too random. And plus, I had a grander vision for the sound of this song that required me to, you know, record my vocals as their own take and then play the guitar and record that as a take so I could mix everything in such a way. If we crack open this mix bus, there's your generic EQ. I like to slap effect rack on my vocals. I like to use a lot of Sound Toys plugins and Rock Lead Vocal as a preset for the effect rack. It's just a very good all-purpose preset. Just gives them a little bit of dirt. I really like the sound of that. And then these equalizers are just taking, like this one's taking out some resonant frequencies, it looks like, boosting the highs a bit more, and I don't know why this one's here. I guess I felt like the mids needed some more meat. Everything I do is a process of trial and error, so I realize how silly some of this looks. That's my vocal compression. Somewhere over the mountain. Reverb. Somewhere. You know, the works. It's also being sent to 2 different delays. There's vocal delay, which that's just what I named it. It's just I can barely hear it though, so it's there. And then there's the distant delay, which is just a much slower decay and a longer delay, just to kind of give it more of a, you know, ethereal vibe. The song's called Over the Mountain. I picture, you know, standing on top of a mountain and you're yelling into a valley or some gulch and it's echoing back at you. That's kind of what I was thinking. Painting a picture sonically. So enjoy that. The way I did background vocals on this song is kind of interesting, but if you know me and the way I produce, it's less interesting because you've heard me talk about this before. I recorded background vocals normally like this. Just drowned it in reverb, and that's just me singing the line in a harmony. But there's always a point when I'm, you know, in deep producing a song where I'm like, I wish I had recorded a harmony for a spot that I didn't. And in those instances, I will manufacture a harmony because I just am reluctant to record more. I don't know, I'm lazy, and I also feel like this technique sounds good enough to justify not recording more for the purpose that I'm serving in this song. This is what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. That's just like a harmony that I made with auto-tune, just, you know, drawing the notes. And that's just the lead vocal that I duplicated and did that with. Sounds ridiculous by itself. Sounds like it wouldn't fit the song at all. But the thing about these harmonies is that they're not audible by themselves. They just are like another texture on top of the lead vocals. So you mix that in. Somewhere over the mountain. You really can't notice. And if you do notice, then in my defense, I'm like, I like it. It's a stylistic thing. That's what I'll say. I can do what I want. Then they go to my vocal bus because I'm not a savage and I bus everything. Make sure you bus your shit. If you're looking at me for guidance and mix tips, bus your groupable instruments. I'm also doing this thing here for the chorus, the lead vocals. They send a little extra to this deep vox mixer track, which adds a layer that's being kind of deepened via little altar boy. The formant is being brought down and it layers on top of them. This is what I'm talking about. Above the cloudy sea, rests a city, old desert that ought not to be found. I just wanted to add a little bit more beef on top of these vocals for the lead, and I was trying to be a little creative with it. So I don't think you would ever notice it in the mix. Like I forgot that was there until I just saw that, but it contributes to the overall sonic experience. Somewhere over the mountain, above the cloudy sea. You can hear them kick in right here. Dies, but only I can see. Whatever's on the other side, it must be made for me. It's like a little demonic, which I feel like is symbolically relevant. The song's kind of about wrangling your demons. I love the sound of like falsetto drenched in reverb. It's so cool. Sweet escape. I'll stop there as far as vocals go. I think it covers the meat of it. I put the strings up next. Let's get into the strings. The strings are the most notable thing about this song production-wise, because I've never worked with strings before, really. This was a quartet, 2 violins, a cello, and a viola. And then these 2 tracks here are just room mics for a little extra noise. I was kind of stabbing at mixing these. I Googled some stuff or watched some YouTube videos on like how to mix strings and deviated from those videos, I'm sure, when it came down to it. As far as EQing and panning strings goes, like I'm far from an authority on this, but what I did for this song, as you can see, I panned the 2 violins to the hard right and left, so they're kind of on the edges, and then the cello and the viola, I panned them in a similar way, but not as much, and then the room tone stuff is in the center, so just trying to create kind of a wide image of strings. I was doing this by ear. I liked the way this sounded. Everything gets bussed here, where I slapped this EQ on it. Since there are several instruments in this song, I mean, there's acoustic guitar, there's also electric guitar, and bass, and pads, and synths. I didn't want these strings to necessarily dominate the whole song. I just wanted them to, you know, add this dramatic element. I took out quite a bit of the low end here and just left a little bit of bass, just so they're not muddying anything up, and boosted the treble based off of what I thought sounded right. Besides that, like, not much. There's this cutoff filter that kind of plays with the strings at certain points. You know, put a healthy amount of reverb on them, which is really all they needed. The musicians who played this just did a phenomenal job, and required very little editing. I kind of wanted the strings to do this call and response thing, I guess. The strings and the guitar kind of play together, so to speak, in between the verses. So it's kind of like a call and response thing between, you know, me and the instruments.
I'll start anew. I'll make it my life's mission to find this place and see my vision through.
A few phrases here and there that we tracked that I cut out just because I wanted some more emptiness. But it's nothing, there's nothing bad, it's just...
It's gotta be...
I cut this out because I felt like I wanted just this particular moment to be a little more empty and pensive. But again, I didn't cut much out. I left almost everything. Laura, who wrote the arrangement for these strings, just did a phenomenal job.
And I can't fathom what the point of all this suffering could be. I guess I'll see.
Gorgeous. Christ.
Sweet escape.
This is one of my favorite things about the song and the strings for sure. Over these sweet escapes, you've got this just suspended high note, you know, on the violins. It's just really, really tugging. It really tugs at you, you know what I mean? It's so tender. God, yeah, that's pretty much all I can speak to for the strings, because for the first time in my life, I barely had to do anything. Laura Epling and her quartet just made it happen. Don't go anywhere though, we got more to discuss. Let me talk about the bass real quick. Obviously there are no drums in this song. Like I said, it's the only song on the whole record that doesn't have drums in it, which was, you know, a challenge for me to cope with, because I love banging on skins. Percussion gets me broiling, but I had to let go of that for this song because it would have ruined it. It wouldn't have ruined it. It just, that's not the angle I wanted to approach it from. The little bass doesn't hurt anybody, and I just wanted to add some substance to it. So I just kind of went direct in with my bass and added some little touches here. The first time the bass comes in is about 1.5 minutes in on the first pre-chorus. It's just this fat note, kind of adds some impact to it. Just a very dramatic bass gesture.
Sweet escape.
Adding a little bit of low end to this section. Yeah, nothing showy at all in the bass here. It's just there to kind of fill out the range a little bit. Let's move on. Let's keep talking. Let's discuss the electric guitar. You know how I do. I love to play guitar. It's a fun thing that I like to do sometimes. Really gets my juices flowing. So the electric guitar is kind of like the counterpart to the strings. They serve very similar roles in this song, and that they kind of support the vocals with, you know, their own, you know, melodies that kind of react to the lyrics, if that makes any sense. I don't know if that makes sense. This descending melody here is one of the staples of the song. We hear it over and over again. It's the only moment where the electric and acoustic guitars sync up, so let that soak in. You probably guessed it. This guitar is direct in. I'm using a guitar rig to add some effects to it. Twang Reverb Stereo Surf is a deluxe preset. I use this preset all the time. I've used it in many songs. I use this preset in Save My Breath. I use this preset in Soup of Sadness. I don't just slap the preset on it, to be fair. I always tweak it a little bit, and I always add EQ and other tidbits to mold it to my liking for the song. I don't know, it just kind of got this old school Nashville sound to it, which is appropriate. I've lived in Nashville for half a decade now. That's 5 years. I don't know if that gives me authority to do it. I just like the way it sounds. Like I said, it just kind of plays a supporting role, comes in with melodies here and there. I love doing this with guitar. I write my guitar like this frequently.
Fed up with the world down below.
I'll just hold my guitar and do some run-throughs, the whole song just noodling, basically, and then I pick the ones that I like. I just feel like the impact of that little moment there is tremendous. Just communicates this meek determination. Dude, I'm throwing you out. You're gone. Get out of here. Look at this asshole. He can't leave me alone. He demands attention. This is what he wants. He's getting what he wants. But what he doesn't want is for me to throw him out of the room. But that's gonna happen. It's inevitable. I'm just trying to make it a pleasurable experience. You see this shit? Alright, bozo. You goddamn clown. Sorry about it. Hate to do it to him. I hate to do it to him, but he was getting in my grill. My grill can't be got in at the moment. I'm shooting a video.
Sweet.
For the second pre-chorus, I just add this nice little guitar melody here. So there's that. Just want to point that out, I guess.
Somewhere over the mountain.
Get this big, fat, open strum. It's kind of like lends it some impact. Then I kind of do this, I don't know what you call it, just like an eighth note plug-in melody here throughout the chorus. It's just panned to the left. It's very country, like Americana-esque. I like it. I like it a lot.
Sat by man, but lost among the
And then there's that walk down melody we all know and love.
I'll cut mine.
We get another big open chord here because we're not done. You think we're done at the end of this chorus, but we're not. Sorry about it.
Whatever's on the other side, it must be made for me. And I can't fathom what
This big swell here, I'm automating the volume just to make the crescendo a little more gradual with the electric guitar here. And it just kind of trails off there at the end. It's this big hill. We're climbing up this hill, and then you crest the hill, and it's just like, you're there. You've made it. But have you? Have you made it?
me, I guess I'll see.
I love stuff like this with the guitar. I think this safely falls into the category of things that you don't notice outright, but that contribute tremendously to the impact of the music. Or at least it does for me. It's just like such a small detail that takes it to the next level.
Any of this now.
Then the guitar drops out here, you know, for this quiet moment. Then it comes back.
Somewhere over the mountain.
And the song ends, of course, with these descending melody things. The preeminent musical motif of the song.
Sat by man, but lost among the peaks. Sat by man, but lost among the peaks.
And that's pretty much it. For the electric guitar, let me talk about the acoustic guitar real quick. It's pretty cut and dry. I recorded it here with a microphone. The microphone I'm actually talking into right now is the one I used. I don't have an extensive collection of microphones. I have one good condenser microphone. It's a Rode K2. It's an omnidirectional mic, which is useful for certain situations, such as this one. My recording engineer friend, I was listening to something that he recorded, and I was like, that acoustic guitar sounds really good. And he told me he'll use a bi-directional microphone, one that records what's in front of it and also what's behind it when he records acoustic guitar. So it's directly recording the instrument. And it's also recording the reflections bouncing back from the other side of the room. It lends it a very natural sound. So I started doing that. I did that for this song, and I think that turned out really good. It's very crispy sounding guitar. I, EQ'd a lot of the low mids out, left some bass in because you don't want it to sound too tinny. Obviously you don't want to cut out all the bass, you want to leave some in to give it some body. That's all I did, basically, and then it gets compressed and it gets sent to these delay channels. The same delay and reverb that the vocals are being sent to, actually. They share a reverb and delay send. So does the piano, just to still kind of put it in a room together, One of my biggest fears with this song was tracking the guitar and the vocals separately, because I never play it that way, and I was afraid it would sound, weird, or it'd be difficult to perform. And it was kind of a challenge to get those takes sounding the way I wanted them to, but I managed it. And to reunite the guitar and the vocals, they share a reverb and a delay. That goes a little bit of the way towards doing that. That's pretty much all there is to it. I really had two good takes of the acoustic guitar, and they're not playing simultaneously like it may look at first glance. The reason these two tracks are here is because the final acoustic guitar track for the song is just a combination of these two takes. I don't know why I did it this way. Usually I just edit it all together into one, playlist track here, but I left it here so you see both. Oh, it's because I didn't record to a metronome, which... Wait, did I not record to a metronome? I didn't. It was difficult to comp this acoustic guitar because I did not record to a metronome. And this was the first thing that I recorded, was the guitar. So these two takes are kind of all over the place, but I still wanted to splice them together to get the one perfect take. So it was a bit of a science experiment to get this right.
I'll start.
It looks like these are overlapping, but they're not. They're big crossfaded here. This line is the crossfade, so it happens very quickly and transparently. Like I said, there's not much else of note there. This is just very much a supporting instrument, just pretty much the same strumming pattern the whole time. That is more or less how I play it when I'm playing an acoustic, so I just started with that and then built this track off of it. Whew, let's get into the rest of this stuff. Let's talk about the piano and the pads. Very much the sprinkles on top of the cupcake that is this song, you know what I mean? No, I don't even know what I mean by that. There's a lot of atmospheric stuff going on here, and I think I'm mostly using Omnisphere. There's this. The song kind of opens with a super ominous drone. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but there's an ominous drone over this intro.
Somewhere over the mountain.
Unless you're new to production breakdowns, you know how I feel about Omnisphere. Kills in the atmospheric pads department. I mean, it kills in other departments as well, but that's my favorite department to lean on Omnisphere for. So kudos to the folks at Spectrasonics. They are doing a bang up job over there. It's kind of spooky. It's a bit spooky, which is exactly what I wanted. I like everything I do to just be a little bit spooky, a little bit of spookiness, because there's just
Sought by man but lost among peaks.
This piano here is Addictive Keys. Addictive Keys is, as far as piano VSTs go, it's probably the best bang for your buck, and that's my opinion. It's my recommended piano VST. For this song, I just wanted something very pristine sounding to just kind of putter off to the side, you know. There's not a lot of repeating patterns in this song. It just kind of evolves in an organic way, I would say. This is the only song on the record that doesn't have a specific tempo. So everything in it I did physically play as opposed to how I normally do things, you know, writing the notes out in the piano roll. Everything here I actually played on my keyboard, which I don't always do. This guitar pad track here is a Guitar Rig preset. This preset called Texturize. It's very reactive to the way you play and it's really cool. I just noodled around while recording with this preset. Same way I do everything. But even with this is even more subdued. Like, this is very quiet in the mix. So it's just another element that's playing around in the background here. Just another thing to chew on.
And each day feels more hopeless than the last. Don't know about you, but I'm getting out.
Very cinematic sound. I really like how that turned out. On the choruses, I'm using some voice pads to beef up what's going on here, just to add a little bit more. And it's omnisphere naturally that's responsible for this. It lends it this sacred vibe, I think.
Whatever's on the other side, it must be meant for me.
The piano and the guitar kind of do this disheveled crescendo thing together. It's kind of this spiral. It's this emotional spiral, musically and lyrically, all coming together here.
And I can't fathom what the point of all this suffering could be. I guess I'll see.
It's like I come to terms with it here at the end of this phrase, and then you just start coasting on something during the pre-chorus. That's why it's my favorite section. I feel like it's just the most cathartic moment of the whole song. Maybe the whole album.
Take me away from this mess.
It's this brand of very bleak optimism that I feel like is very authentic for me.
I didn't sign up for any of this, no.
Then we have one last hurrah with this final chorus here that plays us out.
Sought by man but lost among peaks. Sought by man but lost among peaks.
That's it. That's Over the Mountain. And if you've been watching all these videos in order, that's Living the Pipe Dream. So, wow. This is a sentimental moment for me. I've recorded all of these production breakdown videos kind of back to back, so nobody's seen any of these. By the time I make this video public, I will probably have been releasing these periodically for months. But as of today, this is October of 2020, nobody's seen any of these. But it's been an experience recording them, and I hope to do more. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Let me know if you did. I'm very easy to get a hold of. I'll happily answer any of your production or song related queries. Yeah, I guess that's it. I hope you've I hope you learned something. I'll see you around. And stay crispy. Keep it locked. Keep it manageable. Keep it tight, but not too sticky. Keep it wet, but not too sticky. Keep it obtuse. Keep it obtuse. And somehow also rectangular. I'm gonna stop talking.